How's you going, boys? Mike here. We're back in the shop today in Grampie's workshop working on the Honda ATV Foreman 400. And the little task we're doing today is we're going to change the oil and the oil filter. There's a 17mm drain nut in it. So while that's draining, I just want to show you this. This is the drain plug. I always inspect the tops of the drain plug because if there's any sediment or anything in the oil sump, that's probably where it'll show up. And I don't know how well you can see there, but that looks pretty good. There's nothing abnormal there, so that's good. So we're just going to let that drain. Okay, what I've done now is I just set up here, I can't get at it from the inside, but anyway, I put a shop towel in here just to catch the oil that drips out from where that filter is. And there's 8mm bolts, there's 3 of them. So we'll endeavor to take those off. Boy, Danny must have put those ones on. So I'm using my, you notice my short extension to take these bolts out with my grip tape on the shaft so that I can get a good grip on it. Isn't that neat? I also have a pan set underneath this to catch any oil that's going to drip out, because it will. There's a spring in there too, so that's why I'm holding that in. Oh yeah, of course. Way to go, Mike. I didn't take all the screws out, so now it's going to leak oil everywhere right quick. Oh man. What are you going to do, right? Can you see? Because I can't. Should come out this time. There we go. Okay, and once again I like to look in the cover because like there's chances there's going to be sludge in there if there's problems in the gearbox or anything. And there's a little bit of build-up in that, but nothing that I'd get worried about. And then of course out comes the filter. Got my money's worth out of that guy, I'm thinking. So moving right along, I've got a new Honda filter to put in, and its part number is, well, I can't see it because they got the washer taped right over it, but if you go to your Honda store you can get it. And one thing I like about these filters is when you buy them they come with the new compression washer that goes on the drain plug, so that's good to change that every time. And then I bought this Honda second hand, and the guy I bought it from, he had bought it second hand, so it's had at least 3 owners that I know of. But when I got it, I made myself the promise that I was going to use, at least for the motor lubrication, genuine Honda oil filter and genuine Honda motor oil. And it's 97 is 22 years old now. 97, yeah, to 19, that's 22. Yeah, 22 years. Anyways, knock on wood, I don't see any abnormal wear and tear coming out of the oil that I drain out of it. It all looks good, no sludge or anything like that, so I'm blaming that on the oil. Like Honda oil is expensive, just like anything that's Honda. You pay for it, but I think this saved me engine and transmission. So, just saying. Okay, so here's my filter. I'll take that out, and it says right on the outside of it there, outside, this side out, so that goes out. And we take my little handy dandy spring, and the spring is going to go on there like that, but once it's in the hole, put the spring in first. Excuse me. Sticking my arm right in the way there. And I cleaned up my cover. Nice, so now the filter goes right on the cover, and There's a couple of O-rings. There's one right there, so we made sure that was still in good shape. It's nice and soft still. And there's an O-ring here on the cover, and that's still in good shape too, nice and soft. So now we're going to place our filter right in here. Something like that. And then we're going to put our bolts back in. Okay, so we tighten that fella. And we tighten this fella. And we tighten this fella. And we snug them down. I think in the manual it says what the torque rating should be on this. I just put them in till they feel like they're tight enough. A fella told me one time, when you're torquing bolts, this is a guy I used to work with at work, he says tighten them up till the head snaps off and then back off a quarter turn. Yeah. Well, he was a good fellow, boy, Donnie. Donnie was his name. I wouldn't say his last name. He's dead now. I suppose I could say it, but he was one of those guys, you know, that could he could fix anything. If you never ever saw it before in his life, he could go to work and fix it in a half an hour. What a guy. We had this one piece of gear at work, and it was a mechanical nightmare, really. I was an electrician, so I didn't really know all the ins and outs. Maintenance electrician, we were on shift. And this was a maintenance nightmare. Man, I'm telling you, it caused nothing but problems from the day it was installed. And the only guy in the shop could fix it was Donnie. And Donnie would go out there every day. He worked day shift. Every day he'd go out. It was called the chain. He'd patrol this, up and down, back and forth. He'd leave the shop first thing in the morning. You wouldn't see him again until he was cleaning up his toolbox to go home. But when he started doing that sort of work on the chain, we never had another problem with it. And the day that he retired, within a week, we started having breakdowns on that chain again. So that's, you know, that's the kind of guy he is. So we're going to be filling the, putting oil back in the bike now. So I have a funnel here, so I like to wipe out my funnels. Just give them a quick wipe out, just to make sure they're clean, or halfway clean. Set that in there. Now the bike, it says it takes 2.1 liters. And this is Honda GN4 10W40 oil. So we pour this in slow. So that's 2 liters in there. I just finished putting the 2 liters in, so we'll just do a quick check. A little bit on the stick. So I'm going to put just put another liter, 0.1 of a liter in here. You don't want to overfill it, but you don't want it to be under full either. And I got to fill up the oil cavity, the filter cavity with oil, so that ought to do me right there. And I guess if you do overfill it, it's not real tragic. You can always get some out. So there it is. If you can see that, it's right on the top of the stick mark right there, a little bit above it. So that should work out good once I start the bike. It should you know, fill up that oil filler, that oil cavity well, and it should come back to just about perfect level. So we're going to tighten this up. If I can put it without cross-threading, there we go. Put that in there, clean up a little bit of dribble that I made. Okay, I'm going to start this up, let it run for a little tiny bit. Have to open the door, then we'll come back and check. Okay, that should be long enough. We shut her off. Let the oil drain down a little bit. I'm just going to stick my hand under here and check for leaks. I've got a semi-clean rag. Nothing. Oh, I do good work. Okay, dipstick, clean it off. And it's just barely touching the bottom mark. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, I need to put a little bit more oil in it. So we will. I think in the manual it says 2.1, but they're not talking about like if you change the filter. So there. Just one second now. I'm doing such a nice job I don't want to mess it up here with the last little bit that I put in it. Alright then. Look at that, boys, right at the top. If that was any better, my name would be Ezeki Honda, or whatever his name is, that created Honda Motors. So, that's the oil and filter changed. Okay, we all know that to make sure that your bike runs smooth and lasts a long time, you need to have good lubrication. So don't forget, check your oil regularly, change it when required, and things will be good. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the little video on the maintenance for the Honda. So tune in again next time on Grampie's Workshop. We'll talk to you.